Help keep Kinks and Beats Daily ad-free and receive bonus content early with a contribution of 20 cents per episode. Visit herohabit.com/shop for more information. Hello. Welcome to Kinks and Beats Daily. I'm your host, Tony Fry. We are on episode 142. And today we're talking about kind of a rare Kinks song. Not a lot of people probably know this one, called I'll Remember, which was released October 28th, 1966 as the final track of Face to Face. And we've done a lot of talking about Face to Face and something else. This particular period of the Kinks seems to come up pretty frequently so far on our podcast. This tune was recorded in November 1965, making it the oldest track on the album. Based on recording dates, because I just said it was released October 66. So they held on to this track for a year before it was finally released. It was probably intended for release on Kinks Controversy, but it didn't make it. Makes it on a Face to Face as the closer. And the song does not appear to have ever been performed live. So this was, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, this is just the fact of the matter, this was a worker's song, in as much that Ray wrote it because he needed to write a song. There's nothing particularly fancy about it, and it's an okay tune, but we'll talk about that a little bit. But sometimes they just wrote songs because they needed it to fill an album, and I think that's what we've got here. The song actually reminds me a lot of the Beatles song If I Needed Someone, which was one of George Harrison's first contributions. And this has a lot of similarities to his style, mostly because the rhythm of the melody is all on upbeats. So, I'll remember everything you said to me. I'll remember everything we did. Right? So it's all upbeats, much like if I needed someone to love, you're the one that I'd be thinking of. So it's the same key, and it's a very, very similar rhythmic construction to the rhythm. And this is something that George does a lot. Ray doesn't do it, as often where it becomes a stylistic trademark. But he is doing it here, where he's got everything on the ands. One and what, right? And then what other thing that makes it very similar is that there's a shift to a minor key in the bridge. All right, so we're going along in A. And then he goes, thinking about it now. Thinking about it now. So he shifts to a B minor. All right. So he's going to the minor 2, which is a natural. 2 is going to be a minor chord in the key of A anyway. So he's going to a B minor, which is a natural minor chord, where George, when he does it, takes the 5 chord and makes it minor. Okay, so it's a little bit different. Instead of going to E, he goes to E minor. Had it been some other day, man. But what's interesting is that both of them, the second chord after they shift to minor, go up to a major 6. So this is a borrowed chord, and this may be, it is, if I'm looking at this right, this is the only borrowed chord in the entire song for Ray. So he does the B minor, that's a 2, and then an F sharp major, which is the 5 of B minor, but it's not in the key of A. In the key of A, F sharp would be a minor chord, not a major chord. Then he shifts to G major. All right, so that's another borrowed chord. then E7, back to A. So a couple borrowed chords in there, but I think it's interesting that both of them, even though they switch to minor based on different keys, their follow-up chord to that minor is a major 6 chord, which is a cool hook in pop music that you hear a fair amount. I think the British guys tend to enjoy that major 6, especially of that era. The whole song, though, the whole rest of the song is basically 1-4-5, and then the bridge is the only part where you don't have the primary tonic, subdominant, and dominant chords. That's it. There's some cool guitar work on it. It's kind of a throwaway song, and it's on the last track of the album, which back in those days, because of the degradation of sound quality, sometimes their weaker songs were thrown at the end. Other times, the more experimental songs were thrown at the end. Because like look at Tomorrow Never Knows on Revolver. You're not going to stick that after Eleanor Rigby. It's got to be an album closer, right? So there's a lot of reasons that bands would put a tune at the end. A lot of times it's just a rocker that they are just literally throwing away. It's just for filler. And I think that's what we've got here. You've got a mid-tempo electric guitar-driven song that, does what it's supposed to do. Not a bad song, not a great song, and kind of a forgotten Kinks song. I would wager most people have never heard this one unless you're a diehard Kinks fan who owns Face to Face, which all of you probably do, and all of you who don't should, because it's really a strong album from start to finish. So that's it. Well, we've done this before. There's not always a ton to talk about with these songs. So we're going to call it a day at 7 minutes, and I hope you guys will join us next time for another track. Make sure to swing by herohabit.com to keep up to date with all the stuff going on with Kinks and Beats Daily, and go to iTunes and leave us a 5-star rating and review. And you can also reach me, 925-494-1739. If you haven't downloaded the Mars Picks episode, you can be included in future bonus episodes by calling and leaving a voicemail. And then you can also email me, kinksandbeats@herohabit.com. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day.